Welcome back to Marcus Today. It's a Friday. Thank God it's a Friday, but you know what the time is? It's a time for Ask Mithe, a space where we ask about, you're able to ask me about anything in as far as investments, equities, and bond investments are concerned, and we will be seeking to answer you. You can reach out to us, and that is on Metropole TV on Twitter or Mithe Mwema on Twitter. Our SMS number is 20146. We're more than happy to take your questions later on. In studio, I am joined by my colleague, a sister from another mother, Conchita Lillian. She is a digital strategist as well as the host of Social Diary. Social Diary is an interesting show that airs every Friday at 7:30 p.m. And she's always telling us what's going on, what's hip, what do you need to know. I know I suddenly need to look up to her just to find out what's happening over the weekend so that I'm not caught out too much by being on the equities but not finding out what's happening socially. It's important and it's something that you need to watch out for. Every Friday, 7:30, that is Social Diary. Welcome to the show, Lillian.
Thank you
Conchita
so much.
Lillian.
I feel like that is the best introduction I've ever got in a really long time.
Is it?
It is. I'm like, yo, it's Friday, but you know what? Yes.
It's Friday. Excitement. There's just so much energy.
There is, but now the problem is with the lockdown.
Yes.
So we were talking about, the Mutahi Kagwe kind of a deal whereby it's a new press in town.
Yes.
So, ukisikia, if you hear someone say, skiza, left Friday Mutahi Kagwe wapi? Just
That's a new thing. Oh, Lady Friday Mutahi Kagwe wapi. And then now if we go somewhere, are we ordering sausages and beers?
And 2 beers.
Really?
You are good to go.
So I should start being a sausage seller. You know, like as people are making their orders for EABL
Yes.
and Jumia drinks, I'm like, I sell sausages.
I sell sausages as well,
Okay.
and I'm very good at that.
So sasa leo niambie Mutahi Kagwe wapi leo?
Nyumbani,
Oh,
curfew.
yes, actually, by the way, lest we are, we are told. Okay, fair enough. So tell me, what would you like to know about Ask Mithe? When you think about stocks, when you think about investing in the Nairobi Securities Exchange, what do you think about? Does it even cross your mind ever?
Sometimes it does, but now that you've spoken about the Nairobi security, I have a question for that. And sorry, I had to write these things to get the words correct.
Okay.
Because, us from this other side, our words had to make sure that it's really, really market-wise.
Okay.
So now, the dividends paid by the NSE 20 crossed to 106.2 billion. So what does that say about, like the confidence post-COVID-19? I'm just curious.
Okay, so when that statement says dividends paid by NSE were 106 billion, what it's saying, it's all the companies that are listed on the NSE, the dividends that each paid cumulatively were 106. So Safaricom paid, KCB paid, Cooperative Bank paid, East African Breweries paid, as well as other companies. So it's not that the Nairobi Securities Exchange paid, it's just the companies that are listed on that exchange paid. And then what happened last year, I think the economy was coming off a very low cycle.
Yeah.
After elections, things were a bit slow,
yeah.
But by 2019, if you, even you on the ground, like just speaking to people were opening up more restaurants, people were spending more, lifestyle was becoming a thing, right?
Yeah,
so there was a lot of excitement.
Yes.
And the economy was recovering. So in 2019, the companies were paying higher dividends because typically how they pay dividends, they'll pay it as a percentage of their profit after tax.
Okay.
So if the economy is doing well and I'm making more money, I'll pay a higher dividend. So that was what was happening in 2019. But now that COVID has happened, I will be surprised if we see 106 billion in this year. Because at some point you're like, do I pay dividends or do I hold capital so that I can be able to pay for operations in the months that I'm not generating revenue? So that could be a thing that happens this year.
So the confidence is a little bit...
It's not as high. It's not as high, but Conchita, so there are a couple of things that drive confidence in the stock market.
Yeah.
Let me look at it as we're ladies. Let me look at it as ladies shopping for clothes, right?
My favorite.
Your favorite. So you and I walk into a shop and there's this lovely jacket, as lovely as the jacket that you're wearing, and we're there. So you try it on and I try it on. You know how that conversation normally starts?
Yeah.
The seller is like, hey, madam. But then another lady comes seeing you wearing it. Can I try that?
Yes.
The moment someone else starts asking if they can try, your interest,
yes, goes high.
it goes high.
Yeah.
And there's nothing about the jacket. It's just people have seen it and now they want it.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Then you can be in a space where you're like, I don't need something that looks nice. The cold weather is coming, so I need a functional jacket. So that even though you're shown this red jacket, if it doesn't feel warm on you,
Yeah.
you're like, no, it's not functional for me, so I will not take it. But you see, those are two things that are making you make a decision. There's the feel-good factor, and everybody wants it, so you're like, I must have it.
Yeah.
And then there's the factor of, is it functional to me? You know, does it make sense for me at this time? So the same thing also happens in the securities exchange. It's a market like any other market.
Yeah.
So when you're buying companies, you're like, where's the demand coming from? What are people chasing? And somehow that hard mentality tends to happen. And for us, when we look at the NSC, that hard mentality affects Safaricom. Safaricom is over 50% of what's traded on the securities exchange. There's Equity Bank there, there's KCB there, there's East African Breweries, there's British American Tobacco, there's sometimes Cooperative Bank and ABSA and Standard Chartered.
Okay.
Because that space, the buyers who come there, the same way you and I will be the buyers who go to a shop, the buyers who come to the NSC are foreign investors.
Oh, okay.
So they're the ones who are normally there. So anytime they're looking at the NSC, they're not looking at all of the stocks. These are the stocks that people look at. So the sentiment for those ones is always determined by who's buying and who's selling. So, for instance, I don't know if you follow us on markets today. Every day will say foreign investors were buyers on the stock exchange, or they were sellers on the stock exchange. So anytime you hear foreign buyers are net sellers, it means they're exiting.
So they're like, no, it's not working for us.
No, it's not working for us. So if it's not working for us, then that means that the sentiment and the outlook is not as strong. When they start coming back in, then you're like, okay, that's a positive trigger. So that's the first thing in terms of that sensation and what's happening. And then now the second thing that you look at, in the same way we've looked at the jacket as the functionality for you at that point in time. Now the equivalent on the securities exchange would be, is this company making money? Will it make money? And if it makes money, will it distribute part of that as a dividend to me? Because the company can be doing well. If Safaricom does well, it doesn't pay you a dividend, then you're like, okay, good to know, so what? You know. But if it says it's going to pay you a dividend and people are interested in it, then you're like,
okay,
that's a good thing. So the functionality is what we call the fundamentals of the companies, what is driving earnings. So those are the two things that normally turn into a decision when you're at the securities exchange. And then just to finally answer your question in terms of what is the sentiment like now, when you look at the exchange, the foreigners again who come to invest here, they mostly have a fund that they call emerging markets, or they have a sub-Saharan Africa fund. In other words, they would be looking at key markets in Africa. So they'd either be investing in Kenya mostly or Nigeria. At times they'll put Ghana in there. At times Uganda will be there. At times Tanzania will be there. But the key markets in sub-Saharan Africa, they'd look at Nigeria, then they'd look at Kenya.
Which is good.
And if looking at Africa, they will add Egypt and South Africa. So that investor will look at what's happening in these economies. Nigeria, there's no good news there. And you've seen people can't even, in fact, people can't get their money out. So that's already a problem. Then you come and look at South Africa, the economy, you know, coronavirus. Egypt, if you just do a Google search of news on all these countries, Kenya might be bad, but it's the least of the worst. So you find that we are trying. We are not as badly affected as everybody else. So that same investor says, I will put money in Kenya. And that's what's been driving activity on the securities exchange. Because the alternatives are limited, and because they still have money and they must invest on behalf of their underlying stakeholders, they'll keep putting money into Nairobi. And that's the beauty about Kenya. So when you're in Kenya, you're like, oh, we are not doing well, etc. But somebody out there,
like, whoa, you guys are doing really good.
It's a bird's eye view, because the person who's investing is not just based here. The person who's investing is looking at different options. Different options, and they're like, yeah, stuff is not good, but this is a better option. At least if I put my money here, I will be able to get it back, and it has the potential to go, even though it's by 10% at a bare minimum.
It makes sense. Now, you're speaking about banks, yeah?
Yes.
But I really wanted to understand is how will the banking quarters look post-COVID-19 within, you know, like reduced earnings from transaction charges currently?
Oh, wow. You already have the answer. So how do the banks make the money? So when you hear KCB announcing, you'll hear KCB saying our profit before tax and after tax was X. But then there are keywords that they use. They will say our non-funded income and our funded income grew by X%. Because what banks do, banks take money and then they lend it out. So they're lending it out, they earn interest from it.
Okay.
That's the core revenue that they earn. The same way, like if you're in a media house, there are many things that you can do, but traditionally, media houses earned from advertisement spend.
Yeah.
If they do events and they do other things, that's not their primary revenue earner.
Yeah.
It's really advertising.
Yeah.
So for banks, their core revenue is interest.
Interest, yeah.
But then now, because of M-Pesa and, partnering with M-Pesa, they started earning what they call non-funded income.
Okay.
Non-funded income is, we are not earning this income from lending, we're
Yes.
just earning it from facilitating
yeah,
payments.
yeah.
So that has become a big thing. There's some banks that are almost earning 40% of their revenue from this platform.
Nice.
Just
That's huge,
facilitating trades, either through their partnership with Safaricom, or when you go, if you go out there, you'll find most of the big tier banks have their own apps.
Yes, yes.
There's Mcash,
Yes,
there's
Equi something.
there's Equitel,
Yes, Equitel,
there's
yes.
KCB, M-Pesa,
yeah.
all this, most of the big, Standard Chartered has its own online platform, Stanbic has its own online platform. So most of the bigger banks have their own online platform, and anytime you transact with them, you pay.
Yes.
But now the central bank said you cannot be able to earn from that.
Yeah.
So you're absolutely right in your evaluation. They won't be able to earn as much as they were earning. So that's a risk factor. Then it's not an easy environment for them to lend.
Yeah.
And why would I be lending? And many people are losing their jobs. So what will happen is maybe in a year or two, the revenues that we were seeing in 2019, we might not see this year. There's a high likelihood that we will not see.
Yeah.
And then to go back to your first question about dividends, if I'm earning less, if you had a business and you're earning less, would you pay a dividend?
No.
Exactly.
I will be like, no. Like we're in this together. Let's struggle together.
Let's struggle together.
Yeah.
And then now the final question I'll throw back to you. If this company won't give you a dividend and it doesn't look like it will be earning well, should you be putting your money there for now?
I don't think I will.
Exactly.
I'll be like, let's just stop. We use the Kenyan terms, vitu ziko sawa kwa
Which
sasa.
is because and you've already answered your whole question in terms of
Yeah.
how do I invest on the NSE, because the prices could be up now, but just on a basic level, you're like, things don't look good. So what am I buying? And should I be buying today?
Yeah.
So you've already answered yourself in terms of how should I be looking at now anything when I'm going into the NSE, because you have to start with basic sense, common sense.
Yeah.
What, should I? If not, then I really don't have any business looking
this,
at this
yeah.
thing at this time. Yeah.
Now, Kenya actually floated like a 50 billion bonds and scored that is 78 billion from the IMF. Are we masking a physical crisis under COVID-19, or what are we doing? I'm just curious. Vitu kwa ground.
Vitu kwa ground is different.
Yes.
Acha nisijibu maswali ya Cabinet Secretary of Treasury. Me, I'm just Mbithe Mwema of Ask Mbithe. But you bring out an interesting concept. So before, how you look at how the government is doing, it's the same way how you look at how your household is doing, right?
Yeah.
So you have your expenses, you have maybe you pay your rent.
Yes.
There are people who help you around the house, either your mama fua, then if you comes to help you with washing, or if you live in an apartment, they service church.
Charges, yeah.
Or, like there are all these things and all these people who help you make your life comfortable, directly or indirectly. So there are those people that you pay. Then you'll pay for water, electricity, your Safaricom, your fiber, etc.
Yeah.
So there are those basic and school fees.
Yes.
If you have a loan, then you're paying also for the loan.
Sure.
That's really your expenditure. Right? Yeah. Then there's your revenue sources. So your revenue sources would be, first and foremost, you're employed at Metropole. So there would be the revenue that you earn here. And then if you have other businesses or side hustles, you also earn from that.
Yeah.
Right? Then now if the economy, most people are getting a reduction in their revenues, you see what is happening is, for instance, if your employer tells you, we can't be able to pay you your money, we might need to reduce it.
Yeah, with a percentage or
your revenue reduces, your your expenses are where?
Still up.
Okay. If your revenue reduces, the government earns its revenue from you in terms of income tax, mostly.
Yes.
So it also means that its revenue is
reducing.
It's reducing. So the way you look at your household and look at your income and expenses is the same way the government operates. So the government has all these expenses. It has to pay for its loans, it has to pay its workers, but its primary revenue is income taxes, income and corporate taxes, right? So if corporates, if you're not doing well, if Metropole is not doing well, if the banks are not doing well, it means that the revenue to the government is less. So that deficit, you see, hapo iko negative. That's what you call the fiscal deficit. That's what it is. And the last numbers that we saw for March, the government had earned revenues of 1.1 trillion against a budget of 3.2 trillion.
Okay.
So kuna gap kubwa.
Kuna kubwa, yeah. So 2 point something trillion.
Yes, and that was before COVID.
Yeah.
So what the government is trying to do now that COVID has come is to say, our expenditure is going to go higher.
Yeah.
Because we have a responsibility to our citizens. We need to be able to provide buffers in one way or the other.
Sure.
So what they've done is now they've gone to IMF and applied for packages based on the COVID emergency. And ideally, you would imagine that this money that comes in is going to help in that in one way or the other. But the reality is maybe some of the money that comes in will have to go and clear the deficit.
Definitely.
You know, like
Yeah.
even in your own house,
Yeah,
if
you have to
I
get,
come and
yeah.
give you 100,000 shillings that you had not planned for,
Yeah.
and you haven't paid rent,
Yeah.
and you have to buy masks, and you have to buy masks for everyone, you'll have to prioritize.
Yeah.
You'll try and buy as many masks, you'll try and be safe, but then there are still things that you'll
you
need to pay for.
Yeah.
So that's the space that we're in. But ideally, the funding that we got, which was, I think it was 74 billion from IMF, its intention is to actually go towards COVID measures.
Wow.
Towards COVID measures. But if that's only 75 billion from a deficit of almost 2 trillion.
Yeah. So we may decide to a little.
But it's also, it's not, it doesn't even, like 2 trillion and
It's
then
a
70 billion. So you
it's a
can
lot.
focus on how the government is going to spend on this, but your focus really has to be, how will the government manage
Yeah,
this?
yeah.
And the moment you start thinking like that, it shows you the government will have to find a way to tax you directly or indirectly.
Indirectly, yeah.
And if you follow what happens in Parliament, there were proposals to start taxing bread and things like that. They didn't
Yeah.
pass. But what the government will do to start taxing you on consumption.
Yes.
So it's better for you as an individual to put your money aside because you're like, mimi already niko na deficit
Yeah,
yangu.
yeah.
Serikali iko na deficit
Okay.
inakaa hivi. It has to be met
Yeah.
one way or the other.
Yeah.
And then going to the second question on the 50 billion bond. So how the government finances this deficit that we have identified. If you had a gap in your household, how would you fund it?
Definitely have to restructure everything.
Okay, assuming if you don't restructure, where would you get money from?
That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
If it's not from the salary I'm earning or from any other, like side hustle, probably
Loans?
get a loan.
Yes, a loan, right?
Get a loan,
So you
yeah.
take a loan to be able to?
To like fund everything.
Exactly. So that's what the government does when it comes to the bonds. It's a loan that it's taking
Yeah.
to cover this gap that it has.
Yeah.
So whereas you go to a bank to ask for a loan or a SACCO or your friends or your family,
Yeah.
the government comes to the domestic market or the global market through the Eurobond
Yeah.
and it issues a bond.
True.
So a bond is just the government's way of saying we are taking on debt to cover this deficit. So this 50 billion is part of what the government has been raising and
Yeah.
always raises from the domestic market. So every week they seek to raise 24 billion through the T-bills. So you've had the 91 day, the 182 day, the 364 day. Then every so often they'll issue a longer paper, which is a bond. Like this was a 5-year bond for 50 billion. Now, what is happening now, if you looked at the results, I can share them with you later. 50 billion is what the government wanted.
Yes.
It received 34 billion in bids. It only accepted 20 billion.
Yes.
So there was a deficit there.
Still, yeah.
You know,
like
and-
around 30.
Like around 30.
Yeah.
And also for the T-bills, they look for 24 billion every week. I think this week they raised 13 billion, if I'm not wrong.
So still, again.
There's still a deficit.
Yeah.
And it's just showing you that, yes, they might want to come and get the money from the economy, but the money is not there.
Yeah. The economy is also doing
The economy is
well.
not doing so well.
Yeah.
And I think just to finish this conversation, now what the government is thinking of doing is this week we've had the Retirement Benefits Authority come out and say,
That was actually my next question.
okay, let me not preempt it. Please ask me your next question.
And I was actually going to do something there, like, like in terms of like redeeming pension. You know?
Yes.
So redeeming pension money for, like probably like the retirement package is the one that people want to, but it was reduced.
Yes,
You know, from
yes.
it's supposed to be from 2,000 to 1,000.
I don't know what it was. I'd have to check the exact
Yeah,
number.
there's one for the elderly. I think something like that. It was reduced from around 2,000 to 1,000. So what does that say?
So you see now, you get the context that we have just painted,
Yeah.
where our party Deni. So in your household, it's like you need 100K.
Yeah.
You've gone to the bank is telling you I can only give you 5K.
Yeah.
So there's a thing that you said earlier when you were talking about what you'd do. You said I'd restructure, right?
Yes.
So what the government is doing, it's restructuring its obligations. So it's going back and saying, okay, our to wanna retire, we sungoje kidogo.
Yeah, we like
You
wacha
know.
tutakuchuja ama tutakupatia like less.
Ngoja, we'll give you less.
Yes.
And the other thing that we've had going around this week was the government saying, si mtupatie nini window tusilipe interest
Mtupatie
for these
time.
bonds, mtupatie ka time.
Uh-huh.
Yet, you know these money market funds. I don't know if you're familiar with money market funds.
Not so much, but I am.
Okay, I'll tell you about money market funds. When you want to invest in government bonds, you have two options. You work to CBK, you invest,
Yes.
or you go to a money market fund.
Yes.
You know, all these companies that are out there, there are numerous companies out there, money market managers, you put your money with them.
Yes.
Then they invest on your behalf to government. When they're paid interest, they pass it back to you.
Yes.
Sasa serikali wakisema enyewe hata sisi
Itakuwa
hiyo
hard.
interest atu
Inabidi
you know,
relax.
kuna shida.
Yes.
Now you're like, okay, so sasa tutafanya aje kama kuna shida? So you see now what the government is doing, it's doing exactly what you've said. The way you go back and you restructure, like hii mkate ni lazima tukule mara tatu kwa
Si
wiki.
tukule tu mkate moja leo, alafu pancakes kesho. Like something like that.
You know, that's what you start doing. If
Yeah.
you're with your rent, like now with the measures allowed, you go back to your landlord like, nye mkubwa.
Eh.
Mi naweza nikafanya X.
Yes, yes,
Wewe
yes.
unaonaje? So that's the government hasn't passed that law, but that's what it's thinking, which is allowable and justifiable because you would do the same thing. The only disadvantage is, imagine Conchita, wewe umepatia pesa yako government alafu anakuambia hata kulipa interest.
Na ni pesa yangu.
Ni pesa yako. Mimi
Hapo ndio penye unaanza kukasirika. You're still getting mad at the government for no reason, but to be honest, there's nothing much they can be able to do.
I'm like, if you don't pay interest, hata mi
Hata
ambia
mi
bank
sitalipa.
yangu nisilipe interest, tukue even, si ndio? So you're like, you don't pay interest, sawa. Interest yako ni how much? Sa usilipe. Haya, mimi pia wewe ndo kaongeleshe bank, pia mimi nisiwalipe interest so that even me I benefit.
Yeah.
Sasa tutafanyaje?
So now the other thing is it's more about reading pension money for for getting a house. So how are we able to like get this news like directly? Unajua tukitaka hizi news, what happens?
This is what I always say. So I do personalized financial coaching, just empowering people with the financial information they need to have so that they can make the right decisions. But the one thing that I always say is this. You see, you have to own your own financial journey. You know, like when you lose a shilling, who feels the pain? You're the one who feels the pain, right? When it grows, you're the one who feels the joy.
Yeah.
And what that tells me is you must spend a lot more time trying to understand more about money and about the resources of money and how you can use it to grow on your own tab. And I put that to just say, to answer your question and say, for you to find this information, you must get into a habit of researching and going to different outlets. So first and foremost, if you can make reading business daily, every day, a habit. Most of the articles are available online. You can be able to read them or you can buy the paper. I'm not too sure how many people are buying papers, but you can be able to.
Yeah.
To go and check it out online. There's another website in Kenya, it's called the Kenyan Wall Street. So they collect information in as far as investments are concerned. They put it out there. You can follow me as well. I'm not putting myself out there. I'm a very good resource for this information. So I try and document this information in just small little videos, and I do write-ups every so often. So that's Mbithe Mwema. So I'm a very good resource, just always collating that information and putting it out there. And then watching Metropole TV, there's always an onslaught of a lot of business information that keeps coming out through that. Yes, that's a good resource. Then another good resource is once a week go to the Central Bank website. So the Central Bank website every week has what they call the weekly bulletin. So they put out a paper that says what was happening during the week. What do you need to know about? And then if you have extra time and if you enjoy watching Parliament, which I do, Conchita, I get such a kick because I look at how people argue and then you look at the decisions.
Yes, you're like,
the decisions are east, the argument is west.
Like, what's happening?
Yeah, so I think there are many, for us, there's so many resources out there. And if you start with this basic ones, then you begin to see, because if it's, for instance, if I put out a story, I'll say this is the source of my story. Then you can be able to know. If it's anything on retirements, there is the Retirements Benefits Authority that you can be able to tag into, and even the local brokers. The local brokers and asset managers, most of them are out there. I don't want to pit one against another, but most of them put information out there. But I will recommend, like, There's Genghis Capital. They have the Jikuza trading app. If you sign up, it's free and you get to access market information.
That's amazing.
So that's very free. Sciton also put out a regular report, which is free and available on their website. So they'll be talking about what's topical, what's happening. Those ones I've seen, at least their documents are free and available for consumption.
Now, there's an article I read actually about real estate and how currently, things are a little bit shaky. How is the market for real estates currently?
All right, I like this conversation because you're getting the drift. You ask me a question and I ask you a question. Okay, here's my question to you.
Yeah.
So, if anything happens to your source of revenue, what will happen to where you stay? What will you do about your rent?
He'll have to either look for a cheaper place, move out, or the other option is talk to landlord to give you, a little bit of a longer time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And what you're going through, is that unique to you or is it happening to the majority of the people you know? Everyone.
Okay, not everyone. A lot of people.
It's happening to a lot of people.
Yes.
So if it's happening to a lot of people, what does that mean for the value of these houses in terms of their earnings?
It means they're going to go a little bit down.
Exactly. So what will happen when you're looking at rent, the real estate sector, the key thing is you look at what we call the rental yield. What the rental yield is, if I have a house and I pay 10,000 shillings per month, I multiply that by 12, that's 120,000, right? Then I work backwards and say, how much did this house cost the person?
Yeah.
So for such a house, maybe it cost the person maybe 2 million.
Yeah.
By the time you're paying 10,000 for a house, maybe the cost of building
Like
it or
2
buying
million,
it is, let's work with 2 million.
Okay.
2 million, right? And now that I don't have a calculator, so you would do 120,000 over 2 million to get the dividend yield. So how are we going to do? Okay,
Sorry.
let's do this.
I had my phone nearby.
Okay, so let's do 120,000.
Let's see. Watu wa passcodes. Tukawapa samahani.
It's all right.
So that is 2 million.
120,000.
So 2 million divided by?
No, 120,000, sorry.
Yes, hold on.
Okay.
120?
120
Yes.
divided by 2 million.
Divided by 2 million.
Yes.
That is 0.06.
0.06 times 100, it gives you 6%.
Yes.
So that's 6%. So that's a 6% yield. Now, the yields that houses gain are between 6 to 8%. So what 6% means, what I want you to do is do 100 divided by 6.
Oh, so calculator?
Yes, our calculator.
We need the exact figures.
Yes.
Tukianza kutumia kile, the points.
We are technologically savvy,
Yes.
so
That is 16.66666.
16.666.
Yeah, so it's
So-
16.7, yeah?
16.7. What
Yes.
these numbers are telling you is in a year, this asset gives you 6%.
Yes.
For you to get back the money that you put in, you need 16.7 years.
Wow.
That's what it means. Because if I get 6% every year and I put in 2 million,
Yeah,
it will take me 16.7 years
To get back.
to get it back. That's the payback period.
And
right?
then the profit is not there.
Now wait even before the profit now. If this rent now reduces, say this person says I can only do 8,000. So 8,000 times 12,
That is 16, that is...
8 times
8
12.
times 12.
yes,
That is 96.
96,000. So 90, now do 96,000 over 2 million
96,000. So hold on, 96,000
divided by
divided by
2
2
million.
million. That is 0.048.
0.048. So that's 4.8%.
Yes.
Then 100 divided by 4.8.
So 100 divided by
4.8.
4.8. We get 20.8333. So 4 more years.
Exactly.
I've never thought of it like that.
So when you-
yeah.
Now, when you think about it like that, what would you do today if you had money to put in real estate?
I think I will
You would.
probably, if it's if it's down, if I'm going to go with a common management mentality,
Yeah.
it's going to be like, no, these houses are cheaper.
They have to get cheaper.
They have to get it
So
cheaper.
you won't buy them at this prices.
There's
You'll
no way.
wait.
Yes, I'll wait for them to come down, and then I'm like,
Then
now
you
I
buy
can.
it.
Yes,
Exactly.
Then from there, the economy shoots.
Yes. So you see. So what I'm trying to say is this financial terms, they might look big, but they're just very basic.
Yeah.
Because it's up to you to ask yourself, am I willing to wait 20 years before I get my money back?
No.
then if I'm not willing to wait 20 years, I should not be buying
Yeah.
a house that gives me 8,000 for 2 million.
Sure.
I am comfortable buying it at 1.6.
Yes.
So that's how you be able to look at your investment. So that when someone shows you a house, you're like,
Yeah.
let me wait, because that doesn't make
Doesn't
sense
make
for
sense.
me.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
And I finally have something else that I really wanted to ask. Now, can one buy, like shares in the Airtel or Airtel Telcom after they were given another green light to get more capital by, the tribunal?
Okay. So what happens is you have public listed companies and private listed companies. Airtel, in as much as it needs to raise capital, it's private.
Yeah.
So its existing shareholders are the ones who come up with the money to put in there, because those ones are not in the public. If this decision had been made for Safaricom would come back to the shareholders and say, we need to raise more money.
Yeah.
So for Airtel, no. The only way you can be able to invest in Airtel is if it comes and becomes listed on the NSE, but because it's not listed on the NSE, you cannot access it.
So you cannot?
Yes.
Oh, that's all that I have for today.
Okay,
Megan.
fine. Thank you so much, Conchita. I don't know, was this helpful?
Very, very helpful. Now
Yeah.
I'm going to sit down and start thinking about real estate. Really,
Really hard.
really
Put some
hard.
money aside.
Yes, it's time.
Okay, thank you so much for your time, and thank you so much for being well prepared, and your questions were very good. I hope that we can be able to do this again soon.
Looking forward.
Fantastic. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. That was a very exhaustive conversation with my sister from another mother, Conchita Lillian, and we're just talking just basically about what's happening with COVID, what do you do with real estate, how do you look at your investments, and I think we've had a very, very good conversation. But what I need you to do is to also catch up with her every Friday evening. That's today evening at 7:30 p.m. on Social Diary, because the same way she has done her homework to come and ask me questions, imagine what she does to deliver for you the Social Diary on a weekly basis. Thank you for joining us today. See you next time, same time on Markets Today. Good day.